Hello, podcast fans. This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. And with me today, as always, is my co-pilot in this podcast adventure. His name is Wade. And how are things today, Mr. Wade?
Pretty good, but try not to yell so much. I have a headache, and the Panadol hasn't kicked in just yet.
I'll keep it down.
That would be great.
Have you ever been called a co-pilot before?
No.
No, so that's a first. That's a very first time.
It's the very first time anyone's ever called me a co-pilot, and it's completely inaccurate.
But it's metaphorical, Wade. Come on, roll with it.
Okay, fine. I'll roll with it.
Co-pilot Wade. And I'm not even saying, it's not even like assistant pilot. It's just co-pilot. Like, we're equals in this, man. That's what this means to me.
No. Calling someone co doesn't make them equal, alright?
That's what the term means.
No.
What the dictionary says.
Okay, would you rather be the co-founder of a company or the founder of a company?
Well, yeah, but there is no pilot of the podcast. We're both just co-pilots.
Would you rather be the guy piloting the plane or the guy co-piloting the plane?
But if you're co-piloting, you are piloting. It's in the word pilot.
Right, but if you're the co of something, it's instantly diminished, is my opinion on this.
I don't know. I see the word co, or the prefix co, as referring directly to an equal partnership of some kind. Like a coefficient. The co isn't diminished.
That's like calling the second mate on, like the first mate on a ship, the co-captain. There can only be one.
They don't call them. They don't. Right. Exactly. They don't call them the co-captain because they're not the co-captain.
That's why you have a pilot and a co-pilot, because one is the primary.
Nope. I don't. Nope. Not in the podcast world, I'm afraid.
Okay. What if you're in an X-wing, right?
X-wings only have one pilot, but continue.
Which is the one on Hoth? Like, where they've got
Snowspeeder.
Snowspeeder. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe I made that mistake.
I can't believe you called that an X-wing.
I was thinking X-wing. Okay.
But
they have a co-pilot, but he's obviously not flying the plane.
Well, no, but he's super important because he shoots the gun and he has like the hook thing used to take down the AT-ATs, and without him they die.
Yeah, I'm not saying the co-pilot isn't important, but he's not flying the ship.
No, right? In this case, where you're the one doing the producing here,
yeah,
I think it's more accurate to say you're flying the ship. So you're the pilot and I'm the co-pilot then.
I mean, you could look at it that way, but I think, pilot is still the wrong term.
What word would you use in this situation for our circumstance?
Co-host.
Host. Okay, so if I say co-host, is that diminished?
It depends. Are you the co-host or am I the co-host? Who gets top billing here?
We're both co-hosts. I like how we're coming back into this pod where we left off the last one and just arguing with each other. This is good. This is good for ratings. People like conflict.
Indeed.
People don't like it when you say something and are like, that's right, or vice versa. That's boring.
Yeah, that is boring.
It is.
No, it's not.
Have we talked about the Monty Python sketch argument?
No.
So there's a Monty Python sketch that I actually listened to 100 times before I ever saw it. Because my friend that I used to get a ride to school with back in high school, he had a bunch of Monty Python sketches that he had. The word ripped is not accurate because he put them onto a cassette tape. They weren't going onto optical audio.
When you say you got a lift to him with high school, is this on a bike when there was one big wheel and one little wheel?
Yeah, no, because they didn't have tape decks. Come on, man. This was the 90s, man. This was the 90s. I am old. So anyway, it's brilliant. This guy comes in, he basically walks into a professional facility of some kind and says, "Hello, I'd like to play an argument." And they send him to a room. Have you heard this?
Yes, I completely forgotten about this, but I found this in high school. Someone had ripped it to their phone.
There you go. Same thing. Come on. Sort of the same thing.
Sort of. But go on, explain it for the listeners.
Have smartphones. Yeah, so bottom line, he ends up in a room with somebody who is a professional arguer, and he exists solely to have an argument with this person who's paying money for the privilege of doing this. And it is just one of the most well executed, just well written comedy sketches of all time. So we'll put a link in the show notes if you want to watch the YouTube video. It's out there. On a quick side note, Monty Python for a long time fought hard against letting their stuff be on YouTube. And then eventually they said, you know what? What's the worst thing that can happen? Stopped claiming copyright on it, and the sale of their DVD sets increased like 800%. I mean, you can find news stories on this. So the lesson, as always, is fighting piracy is a fool's errand. Just don't even bother.
Yeah. Don't bother. Yes. Just let people steal your stuff.
Uh-huh. And eventually it will cause more people to buy your stuff legitimately than the other way. Trust me, that's how it was proven empirically by this one example, this one anecdotal example. Anyway, that's like my argument, which part of it is that the other guy just basically straight up contradicts everything that he says at first, and he gets mad because he's like, this is an argument, it's just contradiction. And the guy goes, no, it isn't.
That's how you start an argument.
It is. If you want to get people riled up, just play the game of contradiction first, and then maybe you can have an actual argument later. But
no, you won't.
That's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
Now I have all these like British insults in my head, and I'm not sure which ones of them are ridiculously filthy to a certain portion of the audience. So I'm just going to leave it alone.
Well, I mean, I can help sort those for you if you'd like.
You can, but not without me saying them on the podcast and then making you edit it, which,
Okay.
How about this? Before next time, I'll go ahead and find a list of ones I want to say and send them to you in an email, and then you can censor them beforehand.
Okay, I'll tell you which ones are safe for, like, YouTube casts. Like, you could say this because all your listeners are probably above age, but this one is just too filthy.
Yes, and then you're going to troll me and tell me the backwards of every one of those. A complete contradiction of every one of those.
Would I do that?
And then I will get flagged by YouTube, even more than I already am. Have we talked about this on the pod?
That you're getting flagged for being advertiser unfriendly? I mean, we haven't talked about it, but I have heard you mention it, is what I should say.
Yeah. Okay, so long story short here, everybody loves like inside baseball stories about running a YouTube channel. That's our favorite part of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But YouTube started this automated system that looks for content that may not be suitable for all advertisers after certain advertisers found that their stuff was being advertised on like white supremacist videos and freaked out. So as a knee-jerk reaction, Google's like, look, we have this automated AI system that goes in and looks at the videos, and if there's anything questionable, we'll just remove you from the list of available advertisers and you won't have to advertise for questionable stuff. Which, I don't know, in theory and concept is maybe okay, but it's such a broad brush and the AI sucks so much. I have had no fewer than 22 of my videos flagged as not suitable for all advertisers. And at first this worried me because I was like, I don't swear in my casts. It's all StarCraft 2 or Brood War. I couldn't find any pattern as to what they were triggering on. So I was like, if they find any of my videos not suitable, that means they all could be not suitable in theory. And I was so worried about this, but they do have a little mechanism in there. You can click it and say, please have a human being review this video and see if it's suitable for all advertisers. So I've been doing that for every one of them. And every time within 24 hours, they come back and say, oh yeah, you're fine. Sorry about that. They've done this like 22 times already. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the false flag. Sorry about the false flag. Sorry about the false flag. And it's like, look, at some point, can you just realize I'm not sneaking in adult content here. I'm not sneaking in racist rants about stuff. Leave me alone. Stop flagging my stuff as not suitable for advertisers because it's not true.
Well, they've actually been doing this for a lot longer than it seems. It's only recently, like when all this adpocalypse stuff started happening, that's when they started notifying YouTubers about demonetizing their videos, and they've actually been doing it for years.
What?
Yeah.
So this is just them being like more polite about it?
Yeah, pretty much. And even the fact that you don't swear in your casts isn't swearing. Yeah, swearing's irrelevant to YouTube. For instance, the co-optional podcast, which is sweartastic, is still advertiser friendly.
As far as you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, Total Biscuit's publicly said that that's one of his most profitable videos on YouTube with advertisers. So,
All right.
Unless he's lying.
So swearing has nothing to do with it. How about like violence?
He's done some tests on Twitter, this was ages ago, where he had people upload 2 identical videos, and in one of them he would have the thumbnail would just be like a black screen, right? Or a picture of a cat or something. And the other one to have a picture of a gun, and the gun got demonetized.
That was the only difference? They're just looking at thumbnails?
It's one of the factors. He then ran another test where it had just names of guns in the thumbnail, and that got flagged. So there are obviously... there are things that get flagged, and it's like, all right, let's just check up on this. But obviously they don't check up on it until someone goes, hey, could you?
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, if it was my job to try to make sure that all of the content was suitable for advertisers, I'd probably just quit. Like, that sounds impossible. But in a situation where you flagged somebody 20 plus times and every single time it's fine, and humans have looked at this guy and he's doing the same thing every day, maybe leave him alone. Can we do that?
Maybe you just, like, you know, put a little note on his account saying, look, his videos are fine. Come on.
Maybe you know this because I don't. Do they give back the revenue that they've gotten rid of during the time that they're looking at the flag, right?
I don't know if videos that are flagged have ads displayed on them.
Right. So, like, if I have a cheese compilation, which I've had, get flagged as not suitable for the first 24 hours, which is where most of my traffic comes from. And then they're like, oh, sorry, our bad. Do I just lose the advertising for that first 24 hours?
Do you know if ads still played on it?
I don't know. I need to check next time it happens.
Because if ads don't play, you don't earn money, but you would still earn money off YouTube Red views.
Yes, which is not much compared to what advertising revenue is.
Not much, but when there's no advertising revenue...
It's better than zero.
Exactly. Which, by the way, we got our first Patreon.
We did. I did receive an email from Ted. He sent some beautiful feedback to the podcast along with becoming a patron. So thank you so much, Ted. It was great. He talked a lot about our murdering puppies discussion from last week. He had some really strong thoughts on that, but we're not going to make those public because I'm not sure he wants us to. Anyway, yeah. So again, you can check us out on patreon.com. There's a link in the show notes for that. Just helps support this weekly podcast, which I'm sure you listen to every week because it is your favorite form of entertainment.
Of course.
It is. 100%. All right. So that's enough YouTube stuff going on. Although, okay, one real quick YouTube thing coming up. So you do have a One Trick Wednesday coming up here, which might be just posted or might be coming soon, depending on when Wade gets this thing out. He's been killing it lately, though. Very fast posting. Anyway, One Trick Wednesday coming up. It is our no gas One Trick Wednesday. So it's going to be a lot of Zealots and Marines and Static Defense and Queens and Zerglings and stuff like that. So check it out. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be our last one for a while. I'm just putting it on hiatus for just a bit. Not really getting a whole lot of participation as of late. We're going to put that, again, just a bit of a pause. It will come back later. But for now, last one for a while. You should check it out. Hoo-ah!
I totally forgot that that's what this one was, and I was gonna do it. I really was. I'm like, no gas. Anyone can do that. And naturally, like everything, I forgot about it.
I will give you 24 hours to get one in. Just you, though.
Just me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cool. 24 hours. All right.
Yep. Okay. All right. Deal.
Who was it? I think it was... No, it wasn't Poke Bunny, was it? But they got to GM with a gasless Zerg build.
What?
Yeah.
Poke Bunny did?
It might have been Poke Bunny. I think... No, Poke Bunny did... He got GM on every server in under 12 hours or something.
Didn't he cannon rush? I thought Poke Bunny was the cannon rusher.
No, that's printf, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, the P name. The other P name, printf. Mm-hmm. Not Petite Drogo either, though.
No.
So, I mean, with the Zerg build, that's got to be like Proxy Hatch and queens and Spines and stuff, right?
Yeah, probably. I know he made all the replays available as well. I'll have to dig through the Reddit and try and find that.
Okay. I mean, considering how many high-level players don't bother worker scouting, I'm not shocked by that. I would not be surprised if more often than we think, like a Terran player goes, I'm going to move out to do something, and oh, snap, there's a hatchery with 4 spine crawlers right outside my front door. What am I going to do? Anyway, it just drives me crazy that people don't scout. They don't. Protoss actually scout quite a bit. They probe scout more than any other race with our workers. So that's good. That's good for them. So speaking of the video games, why don't you tell me about Children of Zodiacs?
Children of the Zodiacs.
Not on Steam, it's not.
Isn't it? Oh god.
Two mistakes. There's nothing better than the condescending correction that's wrong. That's the best.
I could have sworn it was Children of the Zodiacs, because that just makes more sense.
I mean, I'm staring at the page right now. It's in several places.
Well, you would be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so...
Wait, what? So I'm getting like an XCOM vibe from this thing.
Kind of. It's been a while since I played XCOM, really, but I have played it enough to know that it's pretty similar. The only difference is with Children of the Zodiac, you have a 3-character team. I don't know what you have in XCOM at the higher levels and stuff, but from what I can tell, this game is purely 3 characters, and it's on a very small map. Like each level is a very small map, and it's a grid like XCOM, so you can move, basically in the same way. It's turn-based, except the actions you can take apart from move are all card-based. So you have a hand of, I think it's up to 7. You can spend a turn to draw some cards if you want. You get 2, but all your attacks are based on the cards you play, and they all have ranges from where you can hit and where the area of effect is. And then when you play the card, but it's an ability, it's just set on a card system, you roll dice to determine damage and bonus effect.
And it shows the dice. I can see some of that here.
And you can click and roll them yourself, and then you get to re-roll up to 2 of them.
All right. So it is, I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but it is a fantasy realm. It isn't like XCOM where it's kind of futuristic and aliens. This is all wizards and dragons and stuff, kind of?
Sort of. It's set it's fantasy, but it's not high fantasy, from what I can tell.
Right.
It's more dystopian.
But you're casting spells and stuff, right?
There is one spellcaster. But it's a spellcaster character type. What you use to cast the spells is like a technology called Zodiacs. And when someone picks up a Zodiac relic from this forgotten age, and then try to use them, it slowly binds with their body. So the 3 characters that you have are all children, and the one who's a spellcaster has this glove, who kind of puts it on because she hates adults and starts killing adults, and then is like, why can't I take this glove off? And the other 2 are like, it's kind of on you till you die.
Oh, so back to this just hates adults person. That sounds moderately terrifying.
There's a massive class system between the nobles and the peasants. The reason why you play as children is someone basically had the idea of, what if I started an orphanage and then started using the children to commit crimes?
I mean, it's not a new idea.
No, it's not a new idea, but it's a very fun one.
It is. It's a classic. I mean, that's... Oh, crap. What's the Dickens book where that is with Fagin and stuff? Oliver Twist?
Pass.
Pat, you're passing on Charles Dickens?
I've never read Charles Dickens.
Oh, man. All right. Homework for you. You need to read A Tale of Two Cities at some point in the next month. It's not that bad. It really isn't even that long. And it's honestly some of the best writing I've ever read in my entire life. Dickens was incredible.
The only thing with Charles Dickens I've ever seen is the Doctor Who Christmas special. It might not have even been the Christmas special. It was just an episode set around Christmas with Charles Dickens.
Yeah, I remember some Charles Dickens on the Doctor Who that I've watched. It was all right.
You weren't impressed by gas ghosts?
Nope.
Fair enough.
I was not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yes, using children as thieves is one of the more brilliant ideas, assuming your society has a surplus of children, I guess.
Yes.
Like orphans.
One of the children that you have, he's really kind of like, ugh, please don't hurt me. But at the same time, he's one of the more powerful characters on my team. I use him the most because he's the one with a gun. And it's
Okay.
like, please don't hurt me. I'm not as strong as you guys. And then I'm like, all right, let's play this card, roll these dice. Okay, you just killed 3 people at once. What are you crying about?
Does he believe that he's really weaker than everyone else, or is he playing?
He's like the wimpy guy, yeah.
So he is a coward. He just happens to be real strong sometimes.
Yeah, because I sat around the first 5 levels and power leveled a bunch. So.
Ah, you're one of those people. Oh,
Yeah.
I used to have a coworker, buddy of mine, who did that on every game he ever played. He would sit there and grind the first area for like 17 hours until he was super overpowered and then just steamroll the game. And I was like, dude, Ray, I don't think that's how it's supposed to be played, man.
Okay, 1, JRPGs absolutely should be played like that. 2, this game just scaled everything with me. So I moved on to the next level and everything was my level. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Made me feel bad for grinding.
But you had new abilities, right? So that's fun.
I had a couple new cards unlocked and I had... it did give me benefits. There are benefits for grinding in this game. But that's kind of what I like to do, is just power up a bit and then steamroll for like a couple levels. And then power up a bit and then steamroll. I did not get that. I hit the next one and it was just as hard as the missions I'd been grinding. I'm like, ah.
So what you're saying is you don't like being challenged.
I like being challenged. I just like to be able to overpower that challenge if I want to. Final Fantasy games have trained me to do this. I've played Final Fantasy 13, which is not a brilliant game, for about 60 hours, more than I'd like to admit. Because I sat at several spots and just ground out a bunch of levels. Fairly boring and repetitive, but it's something I could put on, a YouTube video or a podcast, and I could just, walk over, go down this elevator, battle 6 wolves, go back up the elevator, go back down, wolves have respawned.
Yeah, no, I get it. Just killing boars, basically.
Yeah, and I could do that over and over again until I was max level.
Yep. I get the idea that you don't want to get stuck on something and not be able to progress and just lose all passion for a game because you're stuck. I get that, but at the same time, I don't know. Like if I don't feel like there's a chance that I die during a fight, then I don't enjoy it nearly as much.
I understand that, but with a game like Final Fantasy, sometimes the combat systems are, let's be frank, boring. So
True.
The challenge doesn't necessarily come from the specific fights. I mean, there should be other things in the world, like the boss fights, which is, still a fight, but other things that you could do, like collectibles, exploring, quests, that might provide a challenge. And if I hit a brick wall in just fighting scrubs, that's going to make me put the game down faster than anything else.
Yeah, totally. Totally hate that.
I also maybe have cheated to be max level in 15 minutes in Fable 2 when that came out. Because I discovered, I don't know if I looked this up or if I just kind of discovered it, but I think I discovered it, that you could join a second player who would have all your abilities, and then you could have the second player refund the ability so it got free XP that could spend on anything, and then leave the game. It would transfer all that free XP back to you.
Game breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fairness, it's Fable 2, which is just one of the I don't know, one of the weirdest, craziest stories of any game ever.
You reckon?
Possibly. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I don't feel bad about you breaking Fable 2, is what I'm saying. If it was a great game, I might be a little bit upset.
Fable 2 is a good game. What do you want about?
All right.
Why don't you like Fable? What's wrong with Fable?
Something contradiction. So let's.
You're not skimming out on this.
Oh, I am. So
look, if you said Fable, if you had said Fable 3, maybe I could buy that. But you said Fable 2, one of my favorite games.
Okay. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you.
You don't remember?
I have not played a whole lot of Fable 2. What I have done is read a lot about Fable 2 because I played some of it and I was like, I don't know if I like this, and then I read some stuff and got sucked into some crazy detailed reviews of the game and was like, I'm not interested by this at all. And that has entirely created my opinion.
Fine.
Yep.
I'll let this one
So,
go.
I'll let you have it, though, because if someone's actually played the... Well, I'm just saying, if you played the whole game, then your opinion is more valid than mine for someone who hasn't played anything, basically. I'm going to roll with that. Yes. So speaking of video games, my oldest boy, my 9-year-old, has started playing Portal.
Ooh.
Yeah, he actually got introduced to it at a friend's house. A friend had Portal 2 on his console of some kind, his Xbox, I think. Where was Portal 2 released for consoles?
Xbox 360, I believe. But it might be on the One by this point. But I'm pretty sure I played it on the 360.
Okay, so it's probably the 360 that he played it on. And I was like, you know what? I'm not comfortable with my kid playing, first-person shooter games at this age, but Portal is kind of a good way to get a lot of the skills for aiming and kind of logic and puzzle doing and stuff and timing that you do need in, more adult games later on down the road, but I feel okay with my kid playing it. So he's been playing Portal, and it's funny because he'll come to me and be like, Dad, I'm stuck on this. I need you to help me figure it out. And I'm like, you know what? I think you got this thing. And he'll be on level 4. I'm like, if you've gotten through levels 1 through 3, you get the basics. You know what to do. You just need to look at it a different way. As they say, you need to start thinking with portals.
Indeed.
So what I've been trying to do is just help him get a new perspective on something. Well, what about that wall there? What if you time this with this? And just show him a new mechanic and then let him kind of figure it out from there. And it's been fun. He hasn't gotten so frustrated he's quit, which has been kind of a problem with him recently, where he'll play a game and get stuck on something and then stop playing it, which sounds like his dad. So it's totally understandable. But I think he's on the last fourth of the game at this point and really having a good time. So good job, Valve, back when you used to release games, making really, really great games that I can share with the upcoming generation of gamers. I wish you had more stuff coming out.
Well, Valve's making games. What are you on about?
No, Valve is not making games. Valve is not making games, just like there is no live-action movie of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Exactly like that.
I mean, okay, 1, there is a movie. It's just awful.
Nope.
2, Valve is making games. It's a Dota card game.
Well, if you want to be literal, Wade, I guess you could say that Valve is still making games, but they're not. They're not making games.
No. I mean, every time Valve has like an announcement, I'm like, it's gonna be, the Steam box or whatever, like their new console, and it's gonna have Half-Life 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3, and Left 4 Dead 3, and it's gonna be amazing. And
they would sell like 8 billion copies of that.
Yeah,
they would.
I know.
More than everybody on Earth. They would sell more.
Everyone would buy 2.
Yeah.
It's true. And it's never that.
No, it's never that. Man, your dream is big. I've never even once been like, what if it was Half-Life 3 and Team Fortress 3 and Left 4 Dead 3? Like, can we just get one of those things?
You're dreaming realistic, and I'm like shooting for the stars.
I would give a pinky for Left 4 Dead 3. I mean, that Left 4 Dead 2 is one of the greatest games ever, especially in the zombie genre.
Yeah, if you want something that's very similar to the Left 4 Dead style, play Vermintide, like the Warhammer Fantasy game. That'll give you some serious Left 4 Dead vibes, but it's much more recent and still getting new content, I believe.
Oh, Vermintide, huh?
You play
YouTube.
You play as 4 characters that are tasked with various missions, and you basically take on a horde of rat men instead of zombies, but.
Same thing.
Yeah, but instead of ranged focus, like guns and stuff, it's very melee focused, but you do have ranged abilities.
I'm watching a video where this guy has an axe, so yes, I believe you.
It's super fun. I just can't get 3 other people together to play it. So
they're rat people. They kind of look like kobolds. Are they kobolds? Just like, except kobolds are copyrighted somehow?
They're called Skaven. So.
Oh, never mind. He pulled out 2 guns. We are ranged now.
Yeah, some characters have different kind of weapons. So basically, you play as like a tall Imperial dude, a dwarf, a elf, like a high elf kind of character, and a fire mage. I think there's a 5th option, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, so Left 4 Dead in a fantasy setting. I kind of like it.
Yeah, in a
pretty.
Warhammer setting.
It came out 2 years ago, which means it's way more updated than Left 4 Dead.
That is true. That is true.
So true.
Yep.
I mean, not that Left 4 Dead isn't sort of pretty, but man, it's getting old.
Didn't I give you a key for this?
For Vermintide?
I might have, because I gave you a bunch of Steam keys.
Check my Steam library, which is getting bigger all the time.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Oh, guess what there is? There's an update for Steam, Wade. Every day there's an update for Steam. Their developers are some of the busiest in the entire world, I swear.
No, okay. I mean, I opened Steam today. I didn't get an update.
Well,
I'm just throwing it out there.
Library. Maybe they don't have one for the Australian Steam, Wade. Did you think about that?
Oh, we don't need an update, is what you're saying. We're too good for that.
Or it's too good for you. I don't have Vermintide in my library, so nope.
Okay. I might have a key somewhere. I'll have to look.
I will play some Vermintide with you. That looks fun.
Oh, will you? That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I have some amounts of free time these days.
Some. It's really a question of whether or not we have overlapping free time with our time zones.
Yeah. Like, this time is hard enough to schedule.
Yeah, speaking of this time, over the weekend, it was daylight saving times, and I completely lost track of what time it was and when that we record this podcast. I completely forgot, what time is it in Australia, and it's got to be, move the clock forward an hour after that. And so I sent you a message today for some help with this situation, and because of Twitter only displaying one message at a time, I nearly wanted to punch you in the face. Because I asked you what time on your end do we start the podcast, and I would just reverse engineer. But because Twitter only shows me on my phone's lock screen the most recent message that you sent, it just said usual time. I was like, I know we're going to start the podcast at usual time. When is that?
But I was not that obtuse. I'd actually said 9 p.m. my time, the usual time for me.
Yes, you just...
So for future reference, daylight savings begins Sunday, November 5th at 2 a.m. for me.
November 5th, okay.
Yeah, so it's a while. While yet, but a month out.
About a month. Okay.
Yep. So no concerns. We got this figured out. Have I shared my idea of doing away with time zones on the podcast?
No, but I'm very curious to hear.
Okay, we do away with time zones.
Is that the entire idea?
2 o'clock is 2 o'clock everywhere. 1400 hours is 1400 hours everywhere. Some people wake up at 1700. Other people are having breakfast at 1700. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
it's
those
a
are probably
meaningless
the same people.
Label. Having to coordinate meetings between 3 separate continents is so much harder because you have to count for time zones and what's doing daylight savings and what's not. It's stupid. Just say we're having a meeting at 0300 hours and everybody knows exactly when that is all the time, all year long.
Okay, I like this in principle.
Okay.
Which time zone do we get to pick and go off that? Because
we don't.
No,
it's a raffle.
How do you draw the raffle?
We put it in a randomizer, and it doesn't matter. Somebody gets to have noon at the noon time that they're used to, and then everybody else adjusts around that. That's how it works.
Right, but
somebody wins the lottery.
You cannot get every country to agree to give up their time zone, right?
No, you can't.
You're in a country that has 4 spanning the size of your continent that you've got over there.
Yep.
I mean...
Which one? It's not as bad as Russia, but yeah.
Well, nothing's as bad as Russia.
Doesn't Russia have 16? Russia is huge.
When you're that close to the North Pole, I would assume so.
Yes. Anyway, that is my dream because yeah, everybody would throw a giant fit when it first started, but give it a generation or two, and nobody would even care. Nobody would remember the old way.
Oh, probably
not. It wouldn't have any appreciable effect on anybody's life. It's stupid that we do it this way.
But you would still have conversations where you go, okay, so we'll start the podcast at around 0300, and that person would be like, dude, that's the middle of the night here. Whereas if you go, okay, I know I want to start at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, let me look up what it is in their time zone first. If everyone has the same time, you can't look up. Like, at best, you could be like, is it nighttime in Australia at 4 o'clock in the morning? Chances are it might be yes.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
You can look and you can do the same thing and say, okay, what is 0300 here? It's in the middle of the afternoon, and there's a website. You go, what's 0300 in Australia? And it says it's like the morning time.
But you have...
Deal with it. And that's it.
That's the thing. You can't get a specific correlation. Here I can say, okay, it's 4 p.m. now. It's 5 a.m. there. All right? If I go, okay, well, it's what kind of... Yeah, you have to be like, well, what kind of day is it in America at the moment? It'd be like, well, it's about 4 hours to sunrise is the closest you could get. Because you would have to go, you start using how bright it is outside as a reference point. Is, well, at 1100, the sun is at its peak.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but all you'd have to do is say you propose the meeting time, and they would say, no, this block of time works for us, this block of time works for you, and then we say, oh, looks like 0200 overlaps in both of these blocks, let's go with that.
Right,
that's all you have to do.
Anyway. That's what people are doing now anyway.
No, they're not.
They are.
No.
When I asked you to do this podcast, you said you were free from like 9 to 11. And then I just looked at what time that was here and said, okay. You just gave me a block, and I realized that overlapped with the block that I had free. People are doing what you want now. It's just not wrapped in the same system.
I don't know. I still feel like it would be improved if we just had the podcast at 0600 hours.
Okay.
It would be less confusing. I'm not saying it would revolutionize the world, but I'm saying it would simplify things.
I mean, we could go to metric time.
What the heck is metric time?
It was I can't remember what, I think it was Swatch was the company that wanted to introduce a metric time where it ran on sets of tens instead of...
Frickin' Europeans. Uh-huh.
You just hate those freaking Europeans, man.
I'm going to offend all 3 people in Europe listening to the podcast right now.
We do have someone listening from Belgium.
There you go. 1 person in Europe listening to the podcast.
Definitely 1.
Mm-hmm.
But just 1.
But no more than that, no.
Yeah, no. We have a limit. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they wanted to put it on a...
Quota.
I mean, we were really hoping for you thermal, but we'll take what we can get.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to put time instead of on 60 seconds, 60 minutes to a 10 beats in a megabeat or something.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get the concept.
It was stupid.
I mean, does it work out? Like, is the same time basically the same time every day? You know what I mean? Or does it shift over time?
I don't know.
It must have been consistent. They wouldn't have, like, proposed it, right? Like, nobody wants a time system where it's different.
Well, I assume it was so that they could try and sell specific watches.
Yeah, I mean, that was the basic concept, sure. But you're not selling it if it's shifting over time, which I guess our current system does, which is why we have leap years, but...
Okay. Instead of hours and minutes, the main solar day is divided into 1,000 parts called beats. Each beat would last 1 minute and 26.4 seconds, equal to 1 decimal minute in French decimal time.
There you go. So it's not even truly metric. 1.26. Come on.
I know. It's terrible. Get out of here. What a
joke. What a joke, Swatch. Swiss, right? I think they're Swiss.
They're Swiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They Swiss German or Swiss French? I thought they're Swiss French. That sounds like a Swiss French thing to do.
Probably, especially if 1 beat is equal to 1 decimal minute in French decimal time. I think it's Swiss French.
Yep, 100%.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. The French, the Swiss Germans that I know are upstanding individuals, but the Swiss French, can't trust them.
Oh yeah, all the Swiss Germans that I particularly happen to know, they're all nice, I'm sure.
Yep. I do really know some Swiss Germans.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
Okay, just making sure that was on the public record. So you're also playing something else besides Children of the Zodiacs, and I already forgot what it was. What was it?
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Borderlands! Oh, we're going to talk about Borderlands. That's right.
Borderlands. Get your guns.
My short-term memory is busted, Wade.
You have 3 kids.
I do. My brain cells are gone. Yeah, Borderlands. Okay, so my Borderlands story. I do have a Borderlands story. So PlayStation 3, I got it. I came with like a free month of PlayStation Plus, whatever it is, where you can basically play a library of games for free. They'll let you download them and you can subscribe to it once your free trial runs out. So one of the games is Borderlands 2. And I was like, oh, I've heard good things about this game. A couple of my coworkers play it and really love it a lot. So I threw it on, I downloaded it, started playing it, and I was like, this Claptrap robot is loud and he never shuts up. And I was like, okay, Claptrap's gone. This handsome Jack guy is loud and he never shuts up. And I got tired of getting yelled at and put it down and never picked it back up again. That is my story.
You might have the best experience out of everyone on the planet with Borderlands, because I'm not sure it gets any better than that.
That's what I was worried about. Oh, can you validate my decision to quit the game, Wade? Help me out here.
I feel it was a responsible decision.
Excellent.
That said, I have had a lot of fun playing the series.
Okay.
I got every achievement in the first game on the Xbox 360. I really played the ever-living hell out of that.
Wow. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
For the first one.
Yeah,
not the second one. Okay.
Yeah. No, the second one I liked because it had a story. The first one really kind of didn't, but it does have a lot of characters that really kind of grate on you after a while. It's a mixed bag, and I think the strength of the Borderlands games is with the characters that you get to play. Not that any of them are particularly interesting as a character, it's their skill set that you get.
Yeah, definitely.
And in the first game, I picked a character called Mordecai, who was like shown off as like the sniper role. And his pet, well, not his pet, well, he had a pet. I'm getting to the pet. His ultimate ability was his pet, like, bird, right? Called Bloodwing. Yes. So you could send off this bird, and it would just attack stuff by itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Every character got 3 skill trees, and at the very bottom of the skill trees were like ultimate abilities, stuff that really kind of enhanced your gameplay. And he had one that was, it took 5 skill points to put in at each level, but you eventually got a 100% chance to bypass shields. So any character that had a shield, you just attacked their health straight away.
Dang, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I found that to be really fun, because it just meant you never had to carry an electric type weapon, because electric is great against shields, fire is good against health. So if you just carried a fire weapon and an acid weapon, which was good against armor, you were basically set for everything, and then that left you with 2 more weapon slots to fill.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. Not to mention the game was super hackable, and I jumped online and someone was like, here, take this gun, and I picked it up. It was invisible, super hacked, and killed anything in like 3 shots.
This sounds like Wade's kind of game experience.
I only used that gun once.
Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't use it to just roll through everything.
No. By that point, I'd finished the main story 2 times and was basically just trying to like fill out the DLC achievements.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why I had to use that gun, because killing the there's an achievement for like kill the hardest thing in the game, and doing it solo was a little difficult for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. Can understand it.
The problem with the other 2 games, and why I think it was a good idea to put down Borderlands 2, is the classes I don't think are very fun.
Okay.
In Borderlands 2, there's a DLC character, I can't remember her name, but she's basically a mechmancer. She has like a giant robot that when your skill tree is just to upgrade and change visual parts and like the kinds of attacks it can do.
Okay.
That's super fun, but I don't think you should pay $15 extra to play it.
No, doesn't sound worth it. Nice try though, Borderlands.
And at the moment, I'm playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And there really kind of isn't any fun characters in that. You have to kind of play semi-bad guy characters because you're helping the bad guy when he was still a good guy kind of thing, and you get that slow transition from him just turning into a total jack-off.
But you know the whole time he's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, so your character...
that's hard.
Everything that your character says and does is like, I enjoy killing random people. It's like, okay, that's nice, but we're trying to save these people, remember?
Somehow that's diametrically opposed to what we're trying to do here.
Right. We can't just shoot giant lasers at them. I mean, come on.
Is Tiny Tina in the pre-sequel?
She might be in a DLC bit. I think there's
Okay.
something like that, but other than that, I don't know.
Because my recent roundabout way of getting into the Borderlands universe was I found a YouTube channel called Hey Ash, What You Playing?
Okay.
And it actually got its start back in 2007, 2008. This is an old YouTube channel. This is like old school YouTube. And it is basically little short 2 to 3 minute sketches, like sketch comedy with super like dark, irreverent, obscene humor is what it is. And so I'm watching these and they're pretty hilarious. And the comments talk about how some Borderlands contacts. So I looked it up. And one of the actors and writers of this YouTube channel actually did get hired to write for Borderlands 2, Anthony Birch. And so he's the reason that there's any kind of a story in Borderlands. They're like, we need story for our sequel. Let's get someone who can write stuff. And Anthony Birch was the one. Okay. And then his sister, Ashley Birch, is the one who's kind of your like crazy. That's like a straight man and a funny man combo right here. Anthony being the straight man and she's the funny man, and she voices Tiny Tina. And so that is the connection that I have to Borderlands 2 right now. But hey, Ash, what you playing? Pretty funny stuff. I think they're still going, as far as I can tell. Still putting out videos. It's very like tangentially related to video games. I think they sort of use video game names in the titles to kind of get you sucked in, and that sometimes it's about the video games, but most of the time it's just about being kind of wildly irreverent.
Right.
To put it in a nutshell.
Hey Ash, what you playing? YouTube channel uploaded last 6 months ago.
Okay, so maybe not super up to date. Although 6 months is better than a lot of other YouTube channels that were huge in 2008. I can tell you that.
That is true. That is true.
So yeah, that's Borderlands. I don't know. I know the art style is something a lot of people love, but I just couldn't quite get past the hand drawiness of it, I guess. I don't know. It bothered me at some weird level that I can't quite explain.
Fair enough. That's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, man, Claptrap never shuts up.
I mean, a good compromise would just be to play the game on mute.
That's true, but I need to hear when people are shooting me from that direction over that way.
Not really. There's not an awful lot where it's like, I can't find who's shooting me. If you think you're getting shot, it's because your health bar's moving down. Just turn in a 360 degrees, you'll find the guy that's shooting at you.
You can figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or play a character that has a pet and just let it shoot at it if you can't find it.
That does sound convenient, having a pet, I mean.
Play the Necromancer chick and just summon the pet, and it's like, okay, I can't find who's shooting me, but this guy's going to take care of it.
This guy can figure it out and solve that problem for me. Yep. All right. Well, maybe one day I'll come back around to it, but...
Maybe.
That's all I'm going to say. You know what time it is, Wade?
NFL Minute time?
It is Rick and Morty time. NFL Minute time coming later. All right, so Rick and Morty, the last episode available on Netflix Australia was the ABCs of Beth.
That is correct.
Now we get to play the game. Did Wade enjoy this episode or not?
That is the game.
So, based on our previous conversations we've had, I'm going to go with no, Wade did not enjoy this episode of Rick and Morty.
You'd be wrong.
Dang it! You are on a roll right now. You are liking these episodes.
Season 3 has been a very good season.
All right. I'm in.
I like the episode.
Okay.
That does not say I'm not aghast by what happened in it.
Well, that's sort of the Rick and Morty relationship, right? I mean,
yeah.
They start, the very, very first episode is very clear about what it is and what it is going to be. And not enjoying what actually happens while being eminently entertained is kind of its wheelhouse.
Yes, but the episodes in this season are actually enjoyable and not, hey wubba flub flub or whatever. Like,
there's less wubba lubba dub dub.
That's the phrase. Yes, there's much less just, hey, I'm saying silly stuff because silly reasons.
Okay, I can understand that. Yeah, not much silliness in this episode. No. I
mean, a little bit of silliness. I made the water breathable.
What kind of monster would do that for his daughter? Yeah, sarcastic Rick is good.
Yeah.
He's so mad. That's the best part. He's just upset that Beth is like, you stuck me in here. And he's like, it's the best place ever for a 6-year-old kid. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry that you think you deserve an apology.
Which is the best non-apology of all time.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, if we had to rate them, that would be one of the best. One of the best.
That would be up there.
So maybe without getting too much into the specifics of Tommy's experiences in Fruppyland, I'm just not the one takeaway, but one of the major takeaways I got from this episode was that Tommy is not living in our world with any level of adjustment, right? He's not.
He's going off the deep end.
Like, Beth's plan to free him and bring him back here is a terrible plan.
I mean, she does bring him back.
No.
Just his finger.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Which he gave it to me.
Somehow I don't believe you, Beth.
That was such a good line, though. She has, like, no conviction at all. It's so great.
There is a question that I have. It's, he made the floor bouncy. He made the water breathable. And he made the inhabitants anatomically functional?
Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
I mean, he didn't expect it to be anything but a play place for kids, right?
That is true. And also, okay, a question for Tommy here. Why didn't you just eat the honey?
I don't know. Was it a never-ending pit of honey? Can you subsist just by eating honey? I think you'll die.
Honey and drinking water? Like, it's breathable, but it should also be drinkable if it's still water.
Yes, but again, I don't think you have the required nutrients in honey to not die of starvation. Even if you have enough food, right?
Well, think about it. Rick could have been locking her up for who knows how long. And, right?
What did she eat?
Yeah, what would she eat?
Yeah, again, it'll keep you going for a while, but after about year 1, you just don't have the vitamins and nutrients you need to live, and your body will start to eat itself. You'll die.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, beats the alternative, right?
Yeah, totally does.
That freaking puppet theater thing. Oh.
It was so good. I was
so messed up.
I was dying. I also love the running gag where
they're just like, we know.
Yeah, where Tommy's like, let me tell you my terrible dark secret. And like, we know. We figured it out 45 seconds ago. And he just blows right past him.
So what's on the agenda for today? Well, I'd like to make dinner. And then I'm going to eat one of you.
Puts a spin on that phrase, that's for sure. Oh my gosh, Fruppyland. Fruppyland. And then Jerry dating an alien.
Yeah.
To basically try to get at Beth, which somebody pointed out, the alien looks a lot like his visual interpretation of what Beth is based on the marriage therapy episode.
Yeah, it is similar.
Right? It's kind of similar head shape, similar hunting kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
He has a type. Let's just say that. Poor Jerry.
Poor Jerry.
I like how just Summer and Morty are just, they don't take any crap from their parents. I appreciate that about them.
Well, I mean, Morty's practically grown up already. He's got a kid of his own.
He is. He did raise a child from nothing to adulthood. So that counts. That counts quite a bit.
The reproductive cycle of the Fruppyland inhabitants is faster than the sex bot that Morty picks up at like a pawn shop.
Which was really fast.
Yeah.
Which was, to be fair, incredibly fast. But yeah, the reproductive cycle of Fruppyland inhabitants is about 3.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Also, do you think that Beth is a clone, or do you think that it matters?
I don't think it particularly matters, but I do think she's a clone.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's out of here.
She was given the opportunity, and she took it. Gotcha.
I think it's also entirely possible that Rick also made a copy of Summer and Morty to give with her. Like, be like, hey, just be a family on the travel. Why not?
So like the entire family just clones.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point then? They're all clones. Why does it matter?
What's the difference between clones and an infinite amount of them?
I mean, the whole point of cloning Beth is so that her kids don't miss their mother, right? That's it. That's the entire point of cloning Beth.
Right. But if
they're also clones, it doesn't freaking matter.
Rick could do that, why, when he left Beth, when she was young, didn't he just clone himself?
I mean, maybe he didn't have the technology back then?
Oh, come on.
I don't know. We don't know anything about how Rick gained his basically godlike power, do we?
That is true.
We don't have a timeline for it. All right. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So there's one more. It was the finale last night here in the States.
Ooh.
Made me sad.
Did you enjoy that episode?
I did enjoy it. They did bring up Beth's clone situation. So I'm not going to tell you anything, though. I'm just going to say people were surprised. They thought it would just be dropped forever, but nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope. It made a quick comeback. All right. Should we New York? Should we NFL minute this thing?
Yeah. All right. NFL minute this.
All right. Let me know. Count me down.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
For this week's NFL Minute, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Seahawks defense, who I started in my fantasy league against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts this week, the first half looked pretty bad for my defense, but then in the second half, they got a touchdown interception touchdown return and a fumble return for a touchdown. So thank you so much to the Seahawks defense for helping me win my fantasy this week. The Patriots defense is horrible, everyone. The Panthers scored 33 points after the first 3 weeks where Cam looked lost and injured and concussed. He looked amazing against the Patriots, but I kind of feel like that's just because the Patriots defense is disgusting. The Bills are atop the Northeast Division of the AFC. I almost said NFC, but it's the AFC. Got that one done. Bills looking okay. I expect them to fall down. The Giants are terrible. Again, the Colts are bad too. The Raiders without Derek Carr are just completely lost. And the Chiefs just keep winning. So we got to watch out for them. They're 4-0 after beating the Redskins in Monday Night Football, 29-20 in a pretty good game.
Very good.
Done. And Ted does appreciate the NFL minute. I just think people should know. So there's somebody listening who cares about it.
Indeed.
He actually did talk about maybe doing a fantasy league next year with subscribers. So even if you don't know anything about American football, maybe we'll get you signed up for this thing, because even if you don't know anything, your chances of winning are pretty good. Knowledge does not help you in this. I promise.
Okay, then. I'll have to take your word for it. There was some sort of a football grand final on the other night, apparently.
A football what? Grand final?
Yeah, like is the Super Bowl like the final of the NFL?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's like the Super Bowl for rugby. Okay.
Oh, you don't know what it's called though?
It's called the Grand Final.
Rugby Grand Final. To the internet.
Cowboys versus Melbourne Storms.
Super League Grand Final. Fair enough. I didn't know it was called that. I've been educated.
I only know this because people were talking about it at work.
Melbourne Storm versus North Queensland.
Queensland, yes.
Queensland. Yeah, I found an article about it even. 34-6. That wasn't even close.
Yeah, apparently it was a real stomping.
Yeah, that's all right. Stompings can be fun sometimes too.
And that is literally the extent of my NFL knowledge. Well, not NFL, NRL knowledge for this. For both of them, in fact. Yeah, that's about it.
How popular is rugby with just like people that you know? Like, are you ostracized because you don't know anything about it?
I mean, I'm not ostracized, but
okay.
I mean, everyone at work pretty much follows it, and like after every game, which I think there's like one every week or something, people would be like, "So did you watch the game?" Or, "Oh yeah, I got box tickets or something."
Wow. Okay, that's pretty good.
I guess.
Have you seen the IT Crowd?
Yes.
And the episode where they get email updates of how to have like small talk conversation about football matches that happened the night before.
Yes.
Remember that one?
I do remember the episode, but I'm having trouble remembering the specifics.
Yeah, the main line is, "Did you see that ludicrous display last night?"
It's cute.
It is good, and I've always thought you could probably market that. Like, I really feel like there are people who would pay like $5 a month just to get an email every once in a while of just short phrases they can use in conversations about sports with their coworkers. I think it'd be great.
You just go through and pick, okay, these are the sports that my coworkers follow.
Yep.
After every big match, send me a list of stuff that I need to know roughly about.
Give me 3 sentences, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did you see that bailing burr on the top of the ramp that Inno missed?
See? Perfect. You could do that for esports too, although I don't know that that's necessarily a problem in workplaces.
No.
Not understanding what happened in the esports world is making you not able to participate in conversations.
I mean, not yet. But I am, every time that they bring up NRL and other sports, I do bring up StarCraft still at my work.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right.
Keep it up.
We're at time.
We're at time.
Time out.
All right.
Tapping out.
We're at time. That was a pretty good podcast, Wade.
It was. Where did the time go?
I know. The good podcasts always feel like they're very short.
Yes.
The bad ones are an eternity.
Yeah, don't listen to the bad ones.
Nope. We're not going to tell you which ones they are, but don't listen to them.
Yeah, it's like the Avatar movies with Valve's games.
All right, so that's going to be it from us. This has been Falcon Paladin and Wade with yet another Falcon Paladin Hour.
Once we thought that we'll stay young, and this world is never gold. But when I opened up my eyes, I said, grow old with me. Will you age here by my side and stay beautiful for life? Or fade away in the darkness and leave me here. This world is a cold place without you. My days will lead me home. Oh, I'll make it a safe place for you if you promise to feel the hope in my soul.
All right, out, exit, out. Let's do this thing. Got a quest done. Got some gold. Sweet. Lots of gold. Delicious, delicious gold.